Salam, and welcome to beautiful exotic Egypt. I am Dr. Denise Noble, archaeologist on this wonderful dig site. This is my associate Mohammed, and I believe Kebab is over here leaving me. Anyway, I just wanted to bring you up on what's going on here. The Arab Republic of Egypt is located in North Africa, as you can see. Bastet, can you please pull in? It is located in North Africa, bordering the Mediterranean Sea to the north, Libya to the west. It has the Gaza Strip to the east, and the Sudan to the south, which you don't see here on that map very well. With an area of 386,659 square miles and a coastline of 1,522 miles, Egypt is slightly more than 3 times the size of New Mexico. Egypt's capital city, Bastet, I need you again, is Cairo, located right here, and is located in the north of the country. Egypt's population is the largest in the Arab world and is generally young, with 35% below the age of 14 and just 4% older than 65. Almost 50% of the population is below 20 years of age and 39% is under 15. On presenting a real challenge to government in creating job opportunities. The vast majority of the population, 94%, is Sunni Muslim. Coptic Christians and other smaller religious groups represent 6% of the population, while smaller minorities, primarily Nubians, Armenians, and other Europeans, make up approximately 1% of the population. Egypt's civilization goes back more than 6,000 years, beginning of the settled life along the Nile River. Egypt has unusual geographical and cultural unity that has given the people here a strong sense of identity and a pride in their heritage as descendants of humankind's earliest civilized community, as you can see right here. If you notice, Egypt is broken up into upper and lower regions. The bottom being Upper Egypt, the top being Lower Egypt, is because of the way the Nile River runs. If you look here, in this picture of King Tut, this represents Upper and Lower Egypt. The vulture head is Upper Egypt, and the cobra head is Lower Egypt, and this continues throughout their history. The one king who brought the two units, area Upper and Lower Egypt, together was Narmer, also known as the Scorpion King, and it's not the Rock, unfortunately. The unification of Upper and Lower Egypt has been a turning point to the development of society and culture. The ancients regarded this event as the beginning of their history. Narmer, as I said, the Scorpion King, is the first dynasty who united these two parts together. He conquered Lower Egypt. He had the scorpion drawn in his shield and chariot. The hieroglyph symbol of Narmer is a catfish, which represents the NR sound, and the chisel, which represents the myrrh, he's also known as the striker. If you zoom in here, Bastet, this is a hieroglyph of what Narmer's name looks like. What would be on a cartouche. You notice it is the fish and the chisel. That is his name, Narmer. Thank you, Bastet. The ancient Egyptians were the first to believe in life after death. They were the first to build with stone. Before unification of Upper and Lower Egypt, they developed a writing system that is recorded on stone and their history across the country. They were accomplished builders and shipbuilders and sailors. They learned to chart the night sky in order to predict the Nile flood. Their physicians performed surgical operations and prescribed healing remedies. They sculpted in stone granite from Aswan and decorated the walls of their tombs with naturalistic murals and vibrant colors. This is one of the goddesses you're going to see in many of the pharaoh's tombs. This is Mat. She's the goddess of virtue and balance and order. Notice she is from Lower Egypt. And in 1517, Egypt, oh wait a minute, I have another one here. This is Horus. He is another one of our gods that you will see in tombs. He has to do with the afterlife, both of them. Horus and Mat are associated with that. Let's see. The ancient Egyptians were the first to believe in life after death. They were the ones who first built with stone. Oh, wait a moment. Let me go back here. Hold on. In 1517, Egypt was conquered by the Sultan Selim I and was pulled into the Ottoman Empire. Being the Turks were Muslims, the sultans regarded themselves as the preservers of Sunni Islam. This was a time of continuity in education, religion, and the religious law courts. The Arab conquest of Egypt in 1902 Arabized Egypt and adopted the Arabic language and were assimilated into the Arab culture. By the way, Egypt also speaks French and English as well as Arabic. Cairo was established as the capital of the country and became the center of religion, learning, art, and architecture. Egypt attempted to achieve political independence first from the Ottomans and then from the British. The need for Britain to maintain control of the Suez Canal, which is located over here, Baghdad. Let's see. That was the British occupation of 1882. I'm going to skip around a lot because there is a lot of history in Egypt, and it's going to be more than long than we want to do. Egypt was granted nominal independence in 1922, but the British remained in the real seat of power. Interesting enough. In 1956, Egyptian President Nasser announced the nationalization of the Suez Canal that resulted in a three-way invasion by Britain, France, and Israel. Egypt succeeded, and the last of the British troops withdrew from the country by the end of that year. The Arab-Israeli conflict has cost Egypt lives, territory, and property. This armed conflict ended in 1979 with the Camp David Accords with President Carter. If you read Queen Noor, you would know more about this. This did not lead to a comprehensive settlement about peace between Israel and its Arab neighbors. Nor did Carter include Jordan in this accord, which left out King Hussein, who devoted his life to keeping peace in the Middle East, actually his entire life. I believe this is why Egypt is still involved in the conflict on the diplomatic level and is still pressing for an international conference to achieve a reasonable agreement. Elementary school in ancient Egypt. Me and my associate here found digging some information. Only boys from wealthy families started school at 4 years of age. Their father would decide what their son's occupation was going to be, so they were taught only the subjects that were able to be used in that assigned career. Only the boys that were taught math are the ones that became tax collectors, for example. Back then, literacy was important because if you could read and write, you could have a good paying job and acquire respect of your fellow man. Reading and writing took several years to learn because they used hieroglyphs. This form of communication was developed around 3100 BC, and it consists of over 700 signs. There is a many shorthand too, depending on what dynasty you're in. Scripts were normally written from left to right, top to bottom, and bottom to top. They could go anywhere. You have to focus on which direction the figures are facing. Boys had their lessons at the home of the schoolmaster. The students were expected to work very hard and were often beaten on their backs with a rod for talking, being sleepy, or slow, or lazy. The educational system today for elementary and secondary, their education system surpasses all other of the Middle Eastern and North African and tertiary education is free. Primary education begins after kindergarten, which is at age 4. Primary begins at age 6 and takes 6 years, and then preparatory school is another 3. During this time, students can enroll in state, religious, or private schools by choice. Teacher education requires to complete 4 years of pre-service courses at the university to enter the teaching profession, and also must take part in international professional training programs. Now, the differences between Egypt and the United States. If you were living in Egypt, you would have 4.3 times higher chance of dying in infancy. You'll use 89.64% less electricity. You'll make 87.07% less money. You would consume 85.91% less oil. You will have 80.91% more babies. You'll spend 95.24% less money on health care. And you will die 5.8 years sooner. You will also experience 23.56% less of a class divide. You will have 83.33% less likely chance to have AIDS. You will have 4.3% more chances of being unemployed. The similarities: Western fast food chains, teenagers, same as the Americans, cell phones, music, very family-oriented. They're well known as regional peacemakers. Parents want what's best for their children, just like any other parent. And I bid you good day because me and my little camel over here need to get going. Thank you.